Does that help you remember that case?
No, and I don't want to mislead the jury, so I'd like to explain each one of those and the circumstances because you're taking them out of context.
Are you aware those are inaccurate quotes? Are you telling me that those quotes are not accurate?
I'm saying you're taking the whole situation and the quotes out of context, and the jury would love to know what really happened, and I can explain it, and I have the receipts to prove it.
Mr. Okorocha, are you a member of the jury?
I can't tell if that's a serious question, but I'm a witness.
Okay. So you're not qualified to tell us what the jury is thinking. Is that correct?
I didn't say what they were thinking. I'd say what they'd love to know,
Next
which would
question.
correct your inaccurate statements.
I'm just asking about the actual education right now. So neither one required a thesis, and you did not complete a thesis for either of these degrees, right?
Correct.
Neither program has any specified prerequisite classes that you must take in undergrad. Isn't that correct?
I don't know.
Not even organic chemistry?
I took organic chemistry. I got an A in it.
Your master's degree would not qualify as coming from an accredited institution by the American Academy of Forensic Sciences, would it?
That's absolutely incorrect. The universities are accredited regionally and nationally, and the University of Florida is ranked in the top 10 of public schools in the United States.
Mr. Okorocha, I'm asking you specifically about the accreditation done by the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. Given those definitions and the requirements that I listed, your degree would not count as coming from an accredited institution. Isn't that correct?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the line of questioning. It's irrelevant, out of scope, lack of personal knowledge.
Your Honor,
All right, then.
these are his
The witness has
qualifications.
answered the question. He disagreed with your question. Next, move on.
Are you aware that the American Academy of Forensic Sciences publishes the list of schools that do pass their accreditation?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. It's irrelevant. It's out of scope. This witness doesn't have the personal knowledge about what schools
Move
are
on.
accredited.
Move on.
Earlier, you mentioned your publications. Is that correct?
Yes,
And your CV has 7 different publications. Is that right?
yes,
And 7 is the number that you gave us and the jury earlier, correct?
correct.
And those are listed on page 2 of your CV, right?
Yes,
Isn't it true that numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 of that list, so 4 out of 7, are all published in law review journals?
I disagree.
You disagree that number 2, the Syracuse Science and Tech Law Reporter, volume number 27, is a law review journal?
I'm saying that that is a hybrid journal, as you see in the name, Syracuse Science and Technology Law Reporter. So it's science related to law. It's not just law.
Mr. Okorocha, isn't it true that law review and law review publications are all student-run publications?
I don't know.
These are not peer-reviewed articles, are they, Mr. Okorocha?
Which ones?
Numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 on your list of 7 are not peer-reviewed articles. Isn't that correct?
No. Number 3, my understanding is it was peer reviewed.
Okay. So number 3 you say is peer-reviewed, but 2, 4, and 5 are not.
2, 4, and 5 are not correct. Those are law and science. Those don't get peer reviewed.
Okay. And that's because they're law review articles, right?
Well, we can call them whatever you want. I've already read the name of the journal. You can call it a, journal about cartoons. It doesn't matter. It would look at the name.
And under your bullet point, by that definition is, has received awards or grants to continue their research in their field of expertise.
Correct.
Okorie has received the distinction of being one of the top 100 lawyers.
Correct.
You've received 0 grants to do any research in the field of toxicology, isn't that correct?
Correct. Those are for academia only.
You have no awards in the field of toxicology, isn't that correct?
There aren't any awards that I know of. Possibly a Nobel Prize would be.
This distinction of being one of the top 100 lawyers, that's not related to toxicology, is it?
Wrong.
You didn't even specify which organization gave you that award on this page of your website, did you?
Yes, but none of this will change the flawed evidence you're using in this case that I'm here to talk about.
So in People versus Byron Bowman, which is case number 19 AP00019, a prosecutor actually tried to use that case against you, correct?
Yes, and you're talking about a published opinion.
That case was overturned on appeal because the prosecutor misused one of those three cases to call your credibility out, correct?
The conviction was reversed because the prosecutor did exactly what was done in this case.
Objection, Your Honor. It's
Governor.
not his scope of expertise. I move to
Move
strike.
on. Stricken.
So you had essentially all the information, all that information was given to you prior to you testifying today, right?
Yes,
And yet you did not disclose your opinion to anyone from the government before today. Isn't that correct?
Objection,
That's
Your Honor.
absolute-
Hold on.
Holy,
Relevance, Rule 16 doesn't apply to witnesses, to lawyers only.
all right, overruled.
your investigator called me. I texted him, I emailed him, and I called and left a message, and he never got back to me. I tried to talk to your investigator.
That's your testimony today. I'm just confirming.
It's my testimony. I called him, texted, emailed. I did everything I could to get a hold of him.
You didn't email him a PDF with your written report, did you?
No, just like your experts, I didn't do a written report.
Just briefly, we keep referring to this article that Dr. Gates cites in his autopsy report called Fatal Diphenhydramine Intoxication in Infants. And the government's lawyer asked you about one of the cases that uses heart blood. Are you following me?
Yes,
Okay. Not only did they use the heart blood, though, they actually took a brain sample, correct?
yes.
And you already talked about why it's important to take a brain sample. Do you have anything else to add?
You look at three organs: lungs, heart, brain. Which one failed first? If you know which one failed first, you can determine whether the toxicological findings are a coincidence or caused the problem. None of that was done in this case. We don't even know which organ or organs failed first.
Thank you. Nothing further.